until either like the work is done playing or until like you guys say like go ahead and talk. Are you guys?
Yeah, if everyone could just scan this QR code, then go stand in the tape box for.
I'll just wait if it's coming.
You can go to this close line here. In your phones, you have up to the phones. And go to the menu section. No focus.
I was riding my church, and was almost to my left along the train coach. While waiting for my triple dipper, I'd accidentally eaten a whole pack of burrito zero sugar gummy bears, a decision I now regretted. In my rush to leave, I would drop my one and only 24-karat gold Labubu right in the parking lot. Right as I grabbed my Labubu, I looked up and saw a massive bus running towards me. As I dodged out of the way, the burrito zero sugar gummy bears came back upon me. I looked cute 5 minutes ago, and now I looked like pure embarrassment. My hair was all over the place, one shoe was half up, and I looked like I just lost a fight at the sidewalk. My first thought was not that I'd okay, but please don't let this be embarrassing. Then I looked up and saw at least 5 people staring at me like I was some kind of free entertainment. One of them pulled out their phone, and at that moment, I knew this was going to be worse than the accident itself. Before I could even say anything, I heard someone whisper, "Missy's definitely going on TikTok." I turned my head so fast, just as he said it, like that was somehow my biggest problem right now. At that point, the physical pain was nothing compared to the social damage. The bus driver kept asking if I was okay, but honestly, that question had too many layers at that point. I just looked at him like, do I look okay to you right now? Right before everything went dark, I noticed another phone pointed straight at me, and for some reason that hurt more than anything else. Then I heard the ambulance getting closer, and that was what finally broke me. My vision blurred and everything went dark. When I woke up, everything was white, quiet, and too still. For a second, I thought maybe the whole thing had been a dream, until I felt the ache in my body and saw the hospital bracelet on my wrist. A few minutes later, my friend came to see me. After we had been talking for a while, I suddenly started to wonder, how did she even know I was in the hospital? I picked up my phone and checked my emergency contact list, thinking maybe I had added her there without remembering, but the list was empty. I hadn't added anyone at all. She went quiet for a second, then looked at me and said, "I didn't get a call. I saw your face online." I stayed quiet, like maybe if I didn't ask, it wouldn't be real. She unlocked her phone and hesitated for a second, then showed me the post. It was of me, on the ground, outside, taken from above like I was some kind of scene instead of a person. For a second, I couldn't even tell if I was more shocked by the picture or the fact that people had already started reacting to it. Some people were asking if I was okay, but most of them were treating it like it was just another post to react to. I asked my friend how long I'd been there. She said, "Not long, maybe just like an hour." I looked at her in shock and said, "An hour? Does it spread that fast?" It was already turning into a meme. People had added captions, people were reposting it, people were laughing. My most embarrassing moment had already become content, something public, something people could share without even thinking about how it felt to be the person in the picture. Out of nowhere, my friend jumped up and said, That's it, we're famous now. She looked all way too excited about it. I slowly turned my head and looked at her like, we? Without even feeling guilty, she sat back and said, I mean, your trauma, my exposure. At that point, I couldn't tell her more the bus, the post, or her. She just kept scrolling like we were reviewing content. Well, I was still trying to process the fact that my life had been turned into a meme in less than an hour. She leaned closer and said, wait, this one is actually funny, and I think that was my breaking point. I lost it. I charged towards my former friend, tapping him to the ground and losing every last shred of dignity I had held on to. I did not care. How could my friend do this to me? How could she be so opportunistic, so selfish? She had always been brave enough for sending out audition tapes for every reality show in existence, but this was next level. At that moment, I was seeing red. All this embarrassment I had gone through for what? So my friend could enjoy my 5 seconds of fame? I was pulled out of my state of rage when I heard my friend laughing. At first it was just a giggle, then it was a full, reverberating belly laugh. I looked around, and another small crowd gathered around us. Several had pulled out their phones and were now filming. I had felt that I was going to be going viral for the second time today. A new personal record. At that moment, I joined my friend in her laughter. We lay there on the ground, convulsing with laughter for what felt like eons. Almost all the birds lost interest in moved on. A few stayed to continue filming. I could hear the nurses and security rushing toward us and kicking out the onlookers. I felt someone's hand around me, pulling me up and taking me back to my room. I heard people whispering about me in the background as I walked away. I heard my friend in the background screaming for me to come back and security ushering her out. In a few days, our 5 seconds of fame would be over and the internet would move on. I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the mirror and almost fell victim to the negative laughter. All I could think about was how earlier that day I was just walking home, minding my own business, enjoying my meal, and now I was a meme.